Now what, you might rightly ask, am I doing inside a Honda Civic? Well, I'm one to celebrate good advancements in motoring technology, and this 10th generation Honda Civic does just that. For a start, it's a lot bigger than you might expect. This thing's only 150mm shorter than a Mazda 6 wagon. So it just shows you it's no longer a real small car, it's actually a mid-sizer. The entry-level Civic S, which starts the new range at about $29,990, runs a 1.8 litre 4-cylinder engine, and that has figures of 104 kilowatts and 174 newton meters. Now all three other variants in the range run a turbocharged 1.5 litre engine, so it's 300cc smaller, develops 127 kilowatts of power and 220 newton meters of torque, so quite significantly up on the 1.8 litre. We're driving in the Civic NT Turbo, which is at the very top of the Civic range. Costs $42,990, and Honda expects that a good amount of people will be buying this car because it has a lot of extra driver sensing aids that come bundled with it. Lane departure warning, lane keep assist, collision mitigation, avoidance systems, automatic braking, adaptive cruise control, all sorts of technologies designed to keep you on the road. Now, while it's very nice to have all those driver assist aids available to you, chances are you're not going to encounter them on a very frequent basis, or at least we hope not. But what you are going to encounter is the general ambience of the Civic, and I've got to say, it's really, really good. The car feels very prestige inside, very premium. Materials are generally pretty nice to the touch. This new Civic to me shows that Honda has thought long and hard about how people really use their vehicle, and they don't often use it going at light speed round the Nürburgring. They tend to sit largely at relatively slow speeds in high density traffic, so little things like in this car they've done a smartphone tray in the center console here, and that has a cable management system that goes out the back of it, so they've understood that a car is an extension of someone's home or sometimes office. It's a little bit tight on headroom. I've got the seat down at the bottom here, and I've got hardly, more than about that much between me and the roof. This has got a sunroof, of course, which helps to eat into the headroom. But in the back, it's also pretty tight for headroom. But apart from headroom, front and rear being a little bit compromised, there's lots of accommodation for a family of 5 in here. Plenty of legroom in the back seat, with the seats in the front put back at a reasonable driving position. So it's a really voluminous car, and that will help it appeal to people who want a bit more than perhaps Honda Civics from the past could offer them. Cruising on the motorway here, Civic's a pretty nice place to be. Pretty quiet, not much wind noise, good visibility, comfortable. Yeah, you could do a few hundred Ks of this, no problems at all. Honda tell us that they've increased the sound deadening a lot in this car as part of their attempt to match the Euro offerings for noise, vibration and harshness. But I got to say, there's still quite a pronounced level of tyre roar now that we're out on the open road in this Civic. It's a shame because it does take the edge off what is otherwise a very sophisticated, very calm and tranquil environment in here. Like a number of cars these days, the new Civic has torque vectoring. It chooses to brake the inside wheels in a corner to help ease the car around a corner and ideally avoid understeer. So as you approach a corner, you dial on some lock, the sensors pick up that you're turning, say, to the right, and it'll brake the inside wheels or the right hand wheels of that corner and help you slice around that corner ever so more enthusiastically. It's an economical way of bringing even more performance to the chassis of the car. What I've found in practice is it works really quite well. It's not something you can discern. You can't feel the car being slowed on one side, of course, but you can feel an eagerness for the Civic to turn through corners really predictably and comfortably, and that makes long distance touring on the open road so much more relaxing and pleasurable for everybody on board. All four specs in the new Honda Civic range come with a constantly variable transmission as standard. That's the only option you've got. And I'm not a big fan of CVTs because historically I've found them to be pretty lame. This doesn't seem to suffer that flaring problem that CVTs have in the past. The torque is in a nice juicy fat band, and that allows the CVT transmission to be calibrated to be less likely to flare and produce those unusual elastic feelings that you often get with CVT transmissions. I still wouldn't think it's your first choice for a sporty drive, even with sports mode engaged or taking control of it out of these paddles here. It doesn't deliver the connectedness that I want when I'm driving a car in a sporty frame of mind. But let's face it, we're very seldom driving a car in sporty frames of mind, and for general service, the CVT in this particular version of the car is really, really good. They made a big thing with the Civic about benchmarking European cars. I've got to say, they've done a pretty good job. The car does ride very smoothly. It's got a very controlled ride. Bumps and lumps in the road don't seem to upset it too much. It's got very predictable handling that you can rely on. The sensitivity of the steering is just nice. It's got beautiful weighting to it. The brakes are well calibrated. There's nothing really you can complain about. The only thing you do notice out here, of course, on the open road is the tyre roar. Honda's given us a car with this new Civic that is much more sophisticated than it's ever been before. They've come a long way to achieving their goals of increasing the sophistication of the car, the luxury ambience it puts out. They've got really nice materials involved here now, beautifully fitted and finished, nice design elements, very simple layout. Some of the graphics on the dashboard and some of the steering wheel controls here, a little bit fussy, and if they just stripped back some of that design and had a much cleaner visual presentation to some of the elements that you encounter every day, then they'd be even better and even closer to the European rivals who they're gunning for.